time for a brand new round of box office predictions, and as always, we've got to kick things off by recapping what happened in Fantasy Movie League last weekend, and it's a big weekend because award season is winding down now. I keep seeing players fluctuate in that top spot overall, so I don't know who's going to end up with the prizes just yet, but the battle rages on. This particular week, we had 13 players in the league get the perfect lineup. Here they all are. Congratulations, guys, because now is the time to post that perfect lineup, and rolling into these next 2 weekends, it is key. You gotta score big if you want to win the season overall. As for where I wound up, I think I was in 56 last weekend, and that puts me at 63 overall. I feel like I'm just going to call it right now. As long as I wind up in a double-digit spot, I will be satisfied. I think that's all I can ask for at this point anyway. Rolling into my predictions from last week, some of my numbers were a little off, and I wouldn't really say my rankings were as great as I'd like them to be, but close enough. We'll do better this time around. Of course, as we all probably well know, the Lego Movie 2 underperformed big time, only opening with $34.1 million. What Men Want came in at number 2, but also with less than I expected, about $18.2 million. Cold Pursuit took number 3 with $11 million. Then it was actually The Upside, which continues to hold strong, making another $7.1 million, followed by Glass at number 5 with $6.3 million. The Prodigy just missed out on the top 5, coming in at number 6 with a $5.9 million start. Rolling into this new week now, it is a big weekend because it's a long weekend. We have President's Day, and also most of the new wide releases we're talking about right now are actually either opening on Wednesday or Thursday, so that does change the game here a little bit, but these numbers are all for the 3-day weekend. My predictions are for the 3-day weekend, not the full holiday run, so keep that in mind as we jump in with my number 5 pick. That's where I have What Men Want. So yeah, it didn't open as big as I thought it would last weekend, but I do think Valentine's Day could give this one a little boost this time around and keep it going fairly strong. I'm actually looking at Jupiter Ascending for this one. Jupiter Ascending came out about the same time of year in 2015, and of course it has a little bit of a romantic angle to it, but the thing is they both opened with very similar amounts opening weekend. So if I go look at Jupiter Ascending's weekend 2 drop, we've got about 50%. The thing is, I think What Men Want has better buzz than Jupiter Ascending did, so I'm going to bring that percent change down to 40%, and that would mean What Men Want is closing out its second weekend in theaters with another $11 million. My pick for the number 4 spot this Valentine's Day weekend is the new Rebel Wilson movie, Isn't It Romantic? This probably goes without saying, but this is a great weekend to release a movie like this, and I think that Rebel Wilson might be able to find a similar amount of success with this movie as one of her past Valentine's Day releases, How to Be Single. When that one opened up, it almost made $18 million. Looking at the ticket sales right now for Isn't It Romantic, it's looking pretty good, but I've got to keep in mind that there is a chance this could be front-loaded with that Wednesday debut, and I do have a feeling it might be a little bit, which is why I have it in this spot behind our other 2 new wide releases. So I'm going to give this movie a $17 million 3-day weekend. Next up at number 3, I've got new release Alita Battle Angel. So yeah, we've been talking about how this one's going to be a bit of a bust for a while now. Oh my God, Dewey's in a cone. He's okay. He just has to wear a cone for a week. We've been talking about Alita's status for a good while now. It is not probably going to be super hot at the box office this weekend, but I don't think it's going to be as big of a failure as originally predicted, and I do think that the move from December to February is going to help it out. So looking at the competition this weekend, I know this is going to sound like a really weird comparison, but I'm going back to the movie Big Mama's Like Father Like Son to kick off my prediction here, because I was looking at that movie, came out a similar time of year, and the way that we saw the receipts that weekend divvied up is how I envision them playing out for Alita and our new wide releases this weekend. That movie wound up closing out its 3-day run with $16.3 million. The thing is, I think Alita is going to come in a little higher than that. I'm giving Alita an $18 million 3-day weekend start. As I free Dewey from his cone, I move over to my number 2 pick for the weekend, weekend, it is Happy Death Day to You. Of course, the first movie was a really nice surprise when it opened up back in 2017, and I do think the fact that it opened up close to Halloween helped it out, but switching to Valentine's Day doesn't seem like the worst decision in the world for a movie like this, and I do think horror in particular has a draw over this particular holiday weekend. So keeping that in mind, and also the fact that The Prodigy didn't do too well last weekend, and we're pretty far removed from the release of Escape Room, I've got a feeling that maybe this one won't be able to match the first Happy Death Day's $26 million start, but it's not going to come in far behind. I think it's going to make $22 million for the 3-day weekend. And finally, at number 1, that's where I have the Lego Movie 2, the second part. Remember, we have a long weekend ahead of us, and this weekend in particular usually is quite favorable when it comes to family releases, so I have a feeling that the Lego Movie 2 is going to hold strong even after that disappointing start. And also, considering that disappointing start, that does mean it's got less to lose in weekend 2, so we could see a lower percent change here. And I think it's going to be kind of similar to the movie Peter Rabbit, which had a very low percent change its second weekend in theaters, right around this time of year too. It only dropped 30%. So if the Lego Movie 2 winds up seeing a similar percent change, we could be talking about this movie making another $24 million this weekend. All right, guys, it's time to roll into that recap now. I've got the Lego Movie 2 coming in at number 1 with $24 million. Happy Death Day to You taking the 2 spot with $22 million. Then it's Alita Battle Angel coming in at number 3 for me with $18 million. Isn't It Romantic taking number 4 with $17 million. And then finally, What Men Want closing out my top 5 with $11 million. All right, guys, that is a wrap on my predictions, but of course that means it's your turn now. Hit that comment section below, share your top 5 rankings right there. Head on over to Fantasy Movie League, lock those lineups. You've got the URL and the password for the Predictions with Perri League in the description section of this video. If you haven't signed up yet, don't worry, why not play the end of award season to get ready for the new season, which is right around the corner at this point. And of course, as always, we can't wrap this video without a Patreon shout out, and this round is going to my G-chatters, some guys that I've gotten to know very well over the last few months and who I genuinely enjoy talking to. They are Aviel, Rick, James, Ian, Luke, and Ryan. Thank you guys so much. You've heard this too many times over, but I don't care. I'm going to keep saying it because I greatly appreciate you being part of the campaign, and so does this guy here, even though he's busy rubbing himself while he doesn't have that stupid cone on his head. Guys, thank you so much for your support. Thanks to everybody out there for watching these videos. I love making them, and I get to make them because you come back for more of them. So keep an eye out next weekend to see how we all did on our box office predictions.